Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are located in the world. It's a real pleasure to have the opportunity to share this training with you. And this morning, we want to talk about Success Formula 101 training program, which is a series of 4 segments, which we'll be doing throughout the week. And in between, as you know, we love to interview some of the top performers of God Backup. But before we begin, Tammy, why don't we recognize some of the folks that are here bright and early? You go ahead.
Absolutely. So just wanted to welcome all of you to the session. I know people will be joining us quickly soon. I know some of you are early birds, which is always exciting. And just wanted to recognize Urban from Thailand. Welcome to the training session today. Dr. Ricky from Texas, welcome. Lou, welcome from North Carolina. I know that. And who else do we have here? Estiembia, welcome. Kim from Florida, welcome. Mel, welcome. Francis, welcome from the Philippines. We have Massachusetts. What Mel's in Massachusetts? Okay. Irving, welcome. South Carolina. I love global presence. It's fun to talk to people around the world. And who else do we have here? GT. We have Joazana. Will, welcome from Arizona. We have Jay in Indianapolis. We have Esther from Ghana. Randy, welcome. Joel, welcome to the session today. We're actually doing a four-part, 4-week training to really set people up for the foundation of success. David, always welcome. Charles and Martha, welcome to the session today. And we're really, really excited about the next 4 weeks, the content that we're going to be putting out. If you have a paper and pen, if you're old school, paper and pen, if you want to set up your notes on the computer, but take notes, you guys, because these sessions are so important for you to grow personally and to be able to train your teams as well. And so maybe you could get started, Chris.
Yes, absolutely. And one thing I do recommend
last night, I just want to say that's why our voices are a little bit cracky. 80s music, how can you not, right?
You know what, Tammy? What I
Jasmine's
found
birthday,
is over time we lose sight of what we enjoyed, and there's something about music from the 80s that just is very stimulating, a lot of fun, and people were just going absolutely crazy on the dance floor. And it was nice to to go on an 80s night. It was actually really cool. But anyway, coming back to the training, the reason why we're doing this segment here is we can teach you all the basic principles of success cycles in building your network marketing business with God Backup. And there's so many aspects. We can cover all the details in reference installing your software and understanding your back office. And of course, all these trainings are being conducted. And what I really also appreciate is I'm noticing that other leaders like Dr. Asari, Esther, and many of you here that I might not even be aware of, I know Randy, many others are doing trainings within their own ecosystem. And this is really, really important, right? Don't just rely on the one place, but obviously we try to reach all the aspects that are important for you to be successful. But my point in saying is mindset is everything. And this is something that has made a significant difference in my life, because we can have the same training to 10 people and we'll have 10 different results based on the mindset of the person. So this brings us back to why are we doing these kind of trainings? So today we don't have an actual slides because the information is more like topics that we want to cover based on our own experiences, a little bit of help of ChatGPT 4.0 to emphasize our knowledge based on what the world knows. It's really interesting how amazing this tool can be. My point in saying is we have a 4-week segment that Tammy talked about. And the week 1, which is this morning, today, is the foundation of success. And there's 3 topics on how to build a solid foundation. Tammy and I wrote a book called the Success Formula aspect. And we talked about all of these, the 12 principles of building a solid foundation. It's really interesting, because I like to, when we do trainings and we share our experiences, I like to say, well, I wonder what ChatGPT would come up with. And what we're sharing with you, it's in our book that was written in 2018 before ChatGPT existed. So that kind of reinforces the foundation of what we're about to share with you. So to achieve the ultimate success, what we want to cover on this session today is understanding success, number one. Number two is setting clear goals. We call it SMART goals. We'll expand on that in a minute. And number three is time management, productivity, and prioritize. And this is something that I found very common in mentoring people in having success in whatever endeavor they do. That backup is such an amazing opportunity. I want to thank Eve, Joel, and Mike for putting this in front of us. I want to thank Randy for emphasizing the compensation plan, because this is going to drive vision. People are going to see some possibilities that they never saw before. So we're very, very fortunate with a service that everyone needs, that everybody can afford. But now let's work on the foundational aspect of understanding success. Back to you, Tammy.
Yeah, so we're going to go through personal success and professional success in business. And so I'm going to share a little bit of the personal. So the definition is success is often subjective and varies from person to person. And it refers to achieving personal goals, attaining a sense of fulfillment, and leading to a life that bring you a lot of joy, values, and anything that you desire. And I always tell people, you have to have vision. You have to really know what you want and clearly see it. And of course, we'll talk about that. But vision aligned with purpose and mission, man, you just can't go wrong. And you gotta take the time to create that. So just some examples, right? I mean, in your personal life, I believe everybody would want to be happy and to be healthy, right? People want to go through life just feeling amazing. And Joel is a perfect example of that, and Eve. So that's fantastic. Building sustainable, meaningful relationships. That is very, very important in our lives, not just personal, but business relationships too, right? And then pursuing hobbies and interests. What do you love to do? It's funny because Chris and I are both very business focused, and some of you are couples that are very business focused, and we have to step back sometimes because we can get very, very distracted, and we forget the fun things that we like in life. So anybody who follows us on Facebook is starting to notice some of the fun things that we like to do, because we're adding that to the formula, where sometimes we can get really distracted. You know why this happened? Because we sat down and we reevaluated where we were and what was important to us. So that's why we're asking you to really take the time to do this. And achieving personal growth, that's massive. Self-development is extremely important, extremely important. Evolving in life, in business, and when you do that, that you just feel accomplished when you do that. No matter what it is that you learn, you just feel more accomplished in that. So, yeah, if you want to go ahead and share the business aspect, Chris.
Yes, absolutely. I was watching the comments as you were sharing, and so as again, it's what we're talking about here is personal versus professional. So the professional aspect, and again, it's to understand the difference. And it's important to focus on the personal aspect that Tammy talked about, but the professional, what does that represent, right? So we're talking about achieving career related goals, right? Gain recognition in the field that we're working, which is the network marketing environment, right? Making significant contribution to the professional that we're into. Some example is attain a career milestone. What would that represent for you in God Backup, right? We have all these wonderful rank achievements for you to reach. And the bottom line is we'll cover some of those things as we go in future sessions. But what are the benchmarks? What are the things that you need to accomplish and do to move up into your rank? Because as you move up into your rank, your income will be increased. But even better, if you help your team move up into their ranks, your income will also grow. Their income grows. It creates a win-win environment. So the fact is, building a successful business, this is what we're talking about here, right? Contributes to one's fields through innovation and through leadership. Folks, this world needs more leaders. There's something that I see in our society today is we tend to breed more followers, and we need leaders. And so many of you have a powerful voice that is just within, that it's just not coming out, maybe because you feel that it's not your place, you don't deserve it, whatever that may be. This is one of those industries that can really pull that out and get you to shine as bright as you can be, which will impact the rest of your community. And we really need that more than ever. Because if we lose the sight of our leadership and what we're capable of in leading, what's happening is the society become the kind of society that, will encourage dictatorship leadership, because people just follow the rules. And again, I'm not saying to go against it. What I'm saying is you want to lead and you want to inspire others to understand that there's a better way out there. We can actually live the life that we want to live and not the life that we have to live because of circumstances. So leading with inspiration, really important. And I'm telling you that this opportunity will help you get there. If we can put more money in your pocket, then more of you will come out. And hopefully that's the good side, right? Because obviously money makes you more of what you are, good or bad. And the thing is, if you have the right mindset, folks, the impact we can do is just unbelievable. So tell me, what are the key attributes? What I think it's me that's covering this, right?
No, but before you go there, Chris, I
Yeah.
just want to talk about leadership, because John C. Maxwell is the lead in leadership, right? Anybody who follows his books always invest and do more. He's got amazing courses. He's got amazing books on leadership, developing the leader within, all those books. My favorite, and I keep going back to, is the 5 Levels of Leadership. If you don't have that book, invest in yourself and get this book. Really understanding the different levels of leadership. And we were actually, we were mentored for a year with John C. Maxwell. We went to a weekend, and we were part of his training course in the audience. And he went through the 5 levels of leadership. So we took tons of notes. Maybe one day, Chris, we should do this training, because it's phenomenal. Mm-hmm. But yes, developing the leader within so that you can also help others lead. So very important. Yeah, you're going ahead with the key attributes.
Sure. So yeah, Tammy and I will kind of vary from topic to topic, but the key attributes of successful individuals. So number 1, clarity and vision. Successful individuals have a clear understanding of what they want to achieve, both personally and professionally, right? So these are the specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, sorry, my French kicking from time to time, SMART goals. And we'll define what we mean by SMART goals. Folks, it's really important if you can establish clarity on the message that we're delivering here, on how this opportunity and a service can enhance people's lives. I'm telling you, where there's clarity, there is prosperity. So this is very, very important. You go ahead, Tammy.
Yeah, and another one is persistence and resilience. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we see incredible leaders in Got Back Up, and of course the ones that we've met over the years. And they really they're determined to succeed. They're determined to help other people. They persevere no matter what. They overcome objections and any setbacks with the right attitude, the positive attitude. They have growth mindset, and that's the way you should be in business, right? It's to have the patience to go through and continue doing until you get the results that you want. And as soon as you get that, you just want to grow even more. So yeah, persevere no matter what. Don't allow anyone to steal your thunder. I don't know how many times since I've been growing in the network marketing space, especially at the beginning, so many people tried to discourage me along the way because it wasn't easy. And people have so much expectation of getting to the top in a month or a year, and it just doesn't happen that way, right? It's personal growth all the way up. And today they see us, and you know what they say? Oh my gosh, you're so lucky. I always laugh. Are you kidding me?
You're so lucky. Yeah, okay, you should see, what happened behind me and the scars I got. But that's life
Persistence and
today.
resilience, you guys.
Yeah. And the next point is called self-discipline. Folks, it's really important that you understand the importance of that, right? It's to maintain focus in consistency and your efforts and showing up, and not just showing up and learning, but also acting on it, right? And you want to always improve on your skills. So the fact here is many of you here are showing up regularly to the Saturday training, to the Wednesday presentation, the Friday presentation. And I know we have presentations on Sundays and throughout the week. That's really important. Be consistent. The people who win the race is not the fastest runners, but it's the consistent, congruent runners that are staying the course, that are keeping the same pace, the same pace. Is that correct? Is that pronounced correctly? So
Pace.
self-discipline, very, very important. Keep that in mind. Carry on, Tammy.
Yeah, and continuous learning. Successful people always prioritize learning, lifelong learning, by the way. They're always learning and growing, staying curious about what's out there and just expanding, right? Expanding their knowledge, expanding their skills. And everybody should take 30 minutes a day, minimum 30 minutes a day in your schedule. You have to have a schedule if you want to succeed in life. And that's got to be in there. But no matter what time you put it in there, I like for me, my brain is not sharp at night, but morning I'm sharp. So for me, the best time is to get up earlier and just go in my quiet space and do that. That's my learning time. Where Chris, he's the opposite. He's the night owl. He does courses. He does all this stuff at night when it's quiet. So everybody's different, but you got to bring that into your life and into your schedule. Because if you don't put it in your schedule, it just doesn't happen until you develop that habit, of course.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. I mean, and the other point that we want to talk about is adaptability. You know, there's always going to be challenges, obstacles, issues. It's called living. And every time there's an issue, it's an opportunity to improve either on the software or on the plan or whatever. And this is exactly God backup is a image representation of that statement, adaptability. And it's very important that you are flexible and understand that sometimes there's change and the change are necessary, especially how fast things are moving in this society and the economy and everything that's going on. Things that were taking 10 years now, it's taking a month. And it's crazy how fast things change, I should say. And the people who are able to adapt and make adjustments, just kind of work your strategy around this. So there's some folks that maybe were in God Backup they were in GVO, which is the parent company of God Backup, for decades. And maybe they're used to a certain way of doing things. And those have been adapting or are moving fast and moving up very quickly. And often challenges brings opportunities. Folks, I'm not kidding. I'm seeing big, big things happening here. Understanding that we are a digital service provider. Do you understand how many things could be implemented over time with these incredible apps that we have? That is the PC or the phone, the things that we'll be able to do. So there's so much. There's so much in store, but adapt and don't react to situation that occurs. And the reaction of things on a negative side often will get you out of the game. And often people are missing on an amazing opportunity because they were distracted by, so and so that might have said whatever it is that they want to say to lure them into whatever it is that their agenda is. Folks, it's important that you adapt. And these changes are really good. And once this catches on and with the rest of the world, I'm telling you, watch out. You're going to see some amazing things happening here. So that's the adaptability point.
Yeah, and the next one is successful people. They develop strong work ethic, and we're an example of that. We had to learn and schedule and and time bound everything, which we'll talk about. And we're committed to working hard, but smart too. And we're not going to work 24 hours a day, but when we do work, man, we get so much productivity out there. So it's to be able to schedule that and get disciplined around that strong work ethic. And yeah, I'm telling you, you'll achieve a lot of any objection that you have out there. You'll achieve a lot of it.
I'm smiling because I'm really, really, when we, this is something that it's really important to Tammy and I, when we know we have an impact on you to improve whatever it is that you're trying to do, it is such a blessing. You have no idea. And thank you for these comments. And I know that many of you might also be thinking it. This is what it's all about. This is why we do this. There's something I used to say to myself. Um, I always want everybody to succeed. I always want everybody to have this ultimate life. Where I used to say, why can't everybody just all get along? I've been saying that for I don't know how long. It's always been in the back of my mind. And I always try to create, I always try to create an environment. What can we do to improve the environment for people to feel in a better state? And network marketing, it's one of the most amazing vehicle. And in fact, the result of all this is we've done so well for ourselves. But the goal was not, of course we're money aware, but the goal was not the money. The goal was really to make an impact. I'm not trying to sound good here. I truly mean, this is my core. This is what really matters to us. I love it when people do well. When I see people succeed, I'm excited. Like yesterday, we were seeing this guy on the dance floor going absolutely crazy. I
Awesome.
mean, it was abnormal. Let's leave it as that.
He was in his element. It was
But
so
but
cool.
you were watching the guy smiling and living and enjoying. And I felt, instead of looking at this guy weird, I was smiling and enjoying the evening because this guy was having such a good time. So this is what it's all about, folks, right? And the fact here, bring me to my point, is effective communication is so important, right? It's very important to be able to instill vision in others, to inspire others, to build meaningful connection. I know Joel has mentioned that is one of his main priority today is his relationships with the people he cares about, people he loves, people he's surrounded with. This is so important because this is the foundation. When it's all gone and you've made all these wonderful things, that you've created all these wonderful things, when we move on, right? What do people remember you by? Then trust me, it's not by what you own and the money you made, is the impact you've made in others. What a better industry to actually make an impact in people's lives. This is why I love network marketing with a passion, because we're making a difference in people's lives. And the key, the skills is to develop those abilities to communicate. And how do you do that? Well, listen to classes, read books, right? Attend the events of people that are maybe inspiring you. These are all the elements that will improve your communication skills and improve your ability to connect better with others. Back to you, Tammy.
And of course, integrity. That's got to be at a high level, you guys. Always do good by others. Successful individuals maintain high ethical standards and they gain trust within their environment and respect for others. And of course, you get that in return. What you put out there, these were values that my parents used to teach us growing up. Do unto others what you want them to do unto you, right? So always be good and be nice. And even if people are not nice, you still be nice, because I'm telling you, they're going to go away feeling uncomfortable. And just be honest and be reliable for people. It's these are so important elements, not even in leadership for me. It's just in life, right? That's why we have a lot of friends is and always do what's that saying there? I'm just trying to think of it. I had it earlier. When do good things even when people are not looking. That is important. Okay. And don't allow when you're down, to do things unethical, because often people do this stuff, they lose themselves. And yeah, you can't gain that back. Trust. I mean, we've done trainings just on trust, Chris, and it takes years to build this stuff, right? And it takes seconds to break it. And even if you apologize and try and regain that trust, it'll never be 100%. So that's why it's really, really important, this part.
I agreed. So again, in conclusion, with the understanding success, folks, the outcome of what we just shared with you here, and please do feel free to come back to this call. This call is recorded. It's sitting on the Got Back Up on the GVO channel, right? So the outcome is you'll have it clear in you know personalized definition of success, right? You'll have set some goals that are aligned with your vision statement that will guide your journey through achieving your aspiration. It's important that you understand what success means to you, because we each have a different blueprint. And because of that, different things will inspire us in different ways. Not everybody, I mean, the money, folks, is just I was about to say a damn tool. It
A
is just
tool.
a tool. It's what it can do for you and the impact that you can do. I'm telling you, when you start digging, you'll find the money is very superficial. Of course, we needed to breathe oxygen, right? I understand that we live in a society where, having the money, it's like breathing oxygen, right? It's easier to live in a quality of life and so forth. But I'm telling you, folks, when you start digging, you don't have to chase the money. Just make a difference, make an impact, and all of that will be the residual impact. So Tammy, let's actually now we're going to move on to setting goals. Again, there's 3 points we're covering here today. That's the second point here, is setting clear goals. So what do we mean by that?
Yeah.
Right?
So, and take the time to do this, guys. This is another thing. You want to sit down and set goals. Just recently, Chris and I have sat down, and we're looking at the next 5 years of our life. We've accomplished a lot, but what does the next 5 years look like? So, we're looking at some short-term stuff. So take the time to write down some short-term goals that you can accomplish. Okay. And it could be, what you want to accomplish in the month of July. An example of the new uh, compensation enhancements, right? The plan. So now that that the comp plan and the benchmarks and the ranks, now that that, what is a short term goal? So for the month of July, what rank would you like to be at? And then everything is based on doing the benchmarks, right? So that could be a short-term goal. It could be how many new people you're going to bring into your pipeline, adding to your contact list. It could be many things. So everybody's got their own goals that they want to achieve short term. And here's what happens when that happens. You build belief, you build confidence to go higher, and you also inspire when you get there. And we always tell people, I don't know how many times leaders have said, it doesn't matter to me if I hit a rank. I said, maybe it doesn't matter for you, but it matters for your team. It really does. And that inspires them to know that they can do it, that it's possible. Okay, so set these goals. Even if you don't feel that the money matters to you or the rank matters to you, set them, because it matters to the people you bring in. I'm telling you, it does matter.
And I want to
Okay.
thank you, those of
And
you that are
focus.
taking the time. Oh, sorry, I
Yeah,
thought you were
go
done.
ahead.
Yeah, I want to thank all of you here that are taking the time to post your comments. Really, really do appreciate that. And folks, if you have some thoughts that you want to share, but maybe you're a little bit shy to post, here's an opportunity to kind of break free from that. Right? Just post something, even if it's just a couple words or one word. It could be something that is the stage one of getting out of your shell to start talking to people just by interacting with this chat here. We really do appreciate that. So back to setting clear goals, is the point is what we call SMART goal framework. What does that mean? Well, we're talking about smart, where it's specific. Be specific. It's very important. If you're specific, you will find that there's again clarity on what you want. The next point that is important to talk about is measurable, that you can actually measure your goal in steps, and then that they're achievable. I know that we have these dreams, these wonderful goals, and that is I'm not ignoring that. Now I'm talking about measurable goals that are achievable and also relevant, right? It's wonderful to say, well, I want to break the cycle of poverty in the world. Well, it's certainly an amazing goal, but we understand that we don't have control, right? What's happening in the world and how our current government leaders may choose to do things. We don't have any control over that. We have control over the things that we can do. So when you set your goals, they have to be achievable, they have to be relevant, but they also have to be time bound. So Tammy just talked about the
Yeah,
short-term
really.
goals. Now, your long-term goals. So let's focus on God backup here. But also in the same time, we're talking about your life. So if you look at God backup, what's the ultimate level of God backup? Is the black diamond. I mean, that's a beautiful lifestyle. But you're not going to get black diamond tomorrow. They are stages and steps. So the first goal right now, every single one of you here should be a copper. What's a copper? One on the left, one on the right. You are copper. Now you can start earning cycles. From that point on, what's very important is to understand the benchmarks, right? Randy, talk about the 4 benchmarks that you want to achieve and start duplicating. That's how you start breaking down your goals into achievable, measurable, time bound. Like, how long am I going to take to sponsor 2 people that are paying $10 a month? Think about it, right? It's not that hard, but maybe your mind makes it hard. So, but if you have it specifically defined, you will find that your environment will actually present itself with opportunities for you to do this the moment you start clarifying as to what you want to do. That's why setting goals is so important. I cannot stress this enough. So, what's the outcome, Tammy, of setting goals?
Clarity, just clarity, right? When everything is clear, then and you break it down into the tasks, it's structured, right? You've That's your roadmap, your success roadmap. What is our success roadmap right now with Got Backup is the benchmarks. That's the roadmap, right? And if you can do this, you can duplicate it. It's that simple. You don't have to go crazy trying to understand everything and get confused. You just have to do the basics, and everything falls into place. And that's always the way Chris and I have trained in all these years that we have experience. Is we've always done the simple things because people are busy, but people can do the simple things, right? And if they can do it, they can teach it. So yeah, when it's simple, people have no problem taking action on it. And you'll see, you'll achieve anything in your personal life, anything in your professional life, if you really have this structure in place.
So, now we talked about number 1, understanding success. Number 2, we talk about setting clear goals. Number 3, very important, it's time management, productivity, and prioritize. This is extremely important. Time management and productivity. So it's important that you keep in mind the 4 quadrant. Um, Something that Robert Kiyosaki talked about, and I know others have done that. I know John C. Maxwell have done that also, right? Is to prioritize. And if I may suggest, Tammy and I will talk about the 4 quadrants. But if I may suggest, is when you have a moment, and do your homework, folks, because it will impact you and your results and your income, is take an 8 by 11 sheet and then draw a line right in the center from top to bottom and right across from left to right. And then you have quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3 on the bottom left, and quadrant 4 on the bottom right. And what we're going to do now is we're going to talk to you about the things that are urgent, important. We'll talk about the things that are urgent but not important. We'll talk about the things that are urgent. Um, that I say that are not urgent but important. Sorry. So again, let me rephrase. Quadrant one, we'll talk about the urgent and important. Quadrant two is it's not urgent but it's important. Quadrant three, again, bottom left, it's urgent but not important. And quadrant four is it's not urgent and it's not important. Okay. So let's start with quadrant one. Excuse me, quadrant one. It's urgent and important. This is where you need to attend to immediately. It is crucial. It is critical. It could even be a crisis if it's not handled fast enough, right? There's pressing deadlines. If you live in a quadrant one and this is how you run your life, you will have a short life because stress will take will take you over. So it's important that you're aware of all the things in your lives that are in quadrant one that are urgent and important. If I may suggest, list all of those things that are very important, like paying the mortgage, having the money in the bank to do this, or whatever situation that may be in your life. There could be thousands of situations. And make a list of all these things so you are aware of what is urgent and important to do for you to align with your goals and successes. Back to you, Tammy.
Yeah, so quadrant two, and let's go back to that urgent and important, because when it comes to business, sometimes you're going to have we call them little dragons, troublemakers within an organization, or you put an event together and there's one person that has all these objections and may scare the other people off. Like, these are things that you really got to handle. And there's crisis within, your leaders. You can try and make things work out by bringing people together, right? And how many times, Chris, have you and I done this in different countries? It's we've sat in boardrooms and everything worked out. So you got to handle these things, otherwise people will just leave. Right. So when it comes to business, you want to make sure that is really, really important. So quadrant two, not urgent, but important. So tasks that are essential for long-term success, but not require immediate action. So, I always use the money-making activities, right? These are really, really important things. They should be done immediately for long-term, but not everybody does that. But strategic planning, very important. Very important. Most people do not plan. They don't plan. They'll spend more time planning a vacation than they'll actually plan their business or their life. Right? So relationship building, this is important. Skill development also. They're not urgent, but they're very important and they should be put together. Right? But people don't do it because it's not urgent. And so these are the ones you really want to work on for sure.
Yeah. And in fact, quadrant two, this is where you want to spend most of your time.
Hmm.
If you handle your quadrant two properly, you will live a life of prosperity and serenity, right? When you live in quadrant one, it's because you haven't spent enough time in quadrant two to organize before it becomes a crisis. And sometimes it's out of your control. You need to handle it right away. It's not always your fault. I'm just saying that I would say that 99% of your of situation you're facing in your life, it's probably because you're not aware of the quadrant two and you're not aware of the things you should be focusing time on before it becomes a crisis. If money is a crisis for you now, maybe you should focus on the game plan. For example, start prospecting, start inviting, start understanding the compensation plan, start understanding your software, install the software so you can show someone else how to. These are all the things that are in quadrant two. They're not urgent at the moment because it's not critical, but it could be an opportunity for you to deal with a financial crisis that you're dealing with now. And you can't do anything about it right now. So don't stress yourself on the fact that you can't change what is at the moment, but you can start making a difference. starting now. And quadrant number 3, this is urgent but not important, like a text that comes in. Sometimes a text could be urgent, right? It could be something that happens from a family member, an act, whatever it may be. That you need to address immediately. That's quadrant number 1. You need to handle that now. But the majority, I tell you, it is not urgent. It's just, it's they make it look like it's urgent. The person who's texting you make it look like it's urgent, but it's not in a grand scheme of things. And that's where you need to be smart about how much time you spend. And I'm telling you that a lot of folks are spending a lot of time on urgent things that are not important. Now, understand, folks, some things could be important. I don't know what happens, what's going on in your life. I'm just giving you some scenarios that are generic. So the fact here is be mindful, and that's the message in quadrant number 3. Be mindful of how much time you spend on things that are not urgent, but are perceived as being important. And that's when you need to align with your goals and the clarity of your goals and the clarity of what you're trying to do in your life. Is this in line with that? If it isn't, well, just come back to it a little later. Maybe eventually end up in quadrant number 4 as something that might be important to handle, because eventually it could become urgent and important. Again, you need to decide that. All we're saying is organize your life in a way that you focus your time where it matters most.
Yeah. And I just think of other examples. Sometimes, you've got distractions, right? You've got something might be important to somebody else, but they need somebody to talk to or whatever. And women are we kind of get stuck in that. It's okay to say no. All right. You can't say yes to everything. It's okay to say no. And just explain to them that you're working on a project, you have some goals lined up, and you wouldn't mind being there. I mean, if it's urgent, it's totally different. Like there's situations, right? But your environment, who's taking the space, you can delegate stuff too, right? Have somebody else help somebody so that you can stay focused on the things that you want to achieve, because so many people will try and take your time. The busier you are, the more people will try and take your time. And if it's not serving the business, the goals, whatever your personal stuff is that you want to accomplish, then you have to step back and learn to say no to some of those things. And quadrant number 4. I say this is the eliminate quadrant, but no, you can't eliminate all the fun, right? So not urgent and not important. Tasks that are never important nor urgent often are distractions. And we all know that, right? So if you have a mindset of accomplish something like the month of July, you want to increase your rank by 2 ranks or something like that, that takes focus, right? So if you're a TV lover, or you like to go out and party, that might have to be put on hold. No, it will. I'm going to be direct. It will have to be put on hold. That's your celebration at the end, right? So that you can focus on achieving that goal. If you say you want to achieve something, aim for it, you guys. Put other things aside for this. And that's something that Chris and I, when we get our minds to it, there's no distractions because we don't allow it come in. Right. So we accomplish, and then we take time to celebrate, and we set another target goal. And these are things that you have to learn to avoid. Social media is the biggest distraction. Honestly, you can lose yourself with this stuff unless you're using it as a tool to build your business. Other than that, it's distractions, right? So you got to limit your time. That's got to be limited in your agendas. And yeah, and just tasks around the house. I'm going to make another example, Chris, because I'm a woman, right? We got tons of things to do. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. So I did a course just on that with one of my mentors way back many years ago. She said, write down everything you got to do. And it was a big list. And she said, what can you delegate? And then I said, well, I could delegate this right now. House cleaning. I can delegate that. Okay. So as your income, and then you take that time to increase your income so that you can delegate something else. So that was really, really helpful for me. So that could be helpful for you too, to learn to delegate. Write the list of things that are taking you away from your business and start delegating. It even had to do with our kids. I'm saying this, Chris, because it's important. Women, our kids, I know it's a priority in our lives. And there was times where I said to my neighbor, I said, hey, would you mind every week if we could do something for each other? And she said, what is it? And I said, well, you can take my kids once a week on a certain day, and then I can accomplish what I need to accomplish, and then I'll do the same for yours. We did this, and it was so helpful. And think of things. You got to be creative. I got this creative mind that just goes and goes and goes. So you got to be creative on finding ways to spend more time in doing your business so that you can accomplish these goals when you set your targets. I hope this is helpful for all of you. You might be single dads out there, so this is going to be very helpful for you as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because that's definitely the case with many. And at the end of the day here, folks, what we're saying here is focus your time where it matters. And it's okay to be entertaining, to go through some entertainment, like going out, like Tammy. One of the things that often we are lacking, honestly, is we don't go out enough and just enjoy each other's company. We don't do that enough. It's something that kind of became last priority, but it's called sharpening the saw, right? If you happen to be cutting a tree with an axe because you're building a house, whatever that may be, and your axe is dull, you have to work twice as hard to get the same result as the next guy or the next person who has sharpened axe. You understand what I'm saying? I know that nobody uses it, but you understand the analogy. So the point here is it's a lot easier to work when you're relaxed and you're at peace and you had a chance to take some time for yourself to be distracted a little bit. So again, just use your common sense on that because I know how series could be freaking addictive, especially when they're good. And you just can't stop watching because you have to see what's going on next. So just be mindful of that these series are not going to go anywhere. In 10 years, they're still going to be available. So it's just the mindset is I got to watch, I got to see what's going on, right? So prioritize in line to what you want to achieve in life. So the last point we want to cover here is daily planning and time blocking. Really important. Well, daily planning is involve organizing your daily in advance, your day in advance. So often what I do is if I know, see, we live in a city in Toronto where traffic is a problem. I know if you're in New York or LA or places where there's a lot of traffic and you spend a lot of time on the road to get from point A to point B. Well, it's a good idea to plan your exit. And I do that because if I don't, I'm going to waste half my day and barely nothing will be done other than the one thing. But if you plan your day where if I go all the way to the last point to handle whatever that is over there, and as I come back, I can achieve the other things. I'm just giving you an example, right? So the fact is, identify what it is that you need to do throughout your day and plan your day in advance. Often before I go to bed, I make a list of the things I need to do tomorrow. And I find that I love checking things off. It gives me a sense of accomplishment. So again, this is something going to be helpful. Back to you, Tammy.
I just saw a comment with Andrew. Great teachings. I'll teach my students, my kids, homeschooling. Yeah, absolutely. Because, they have to learn all of these skills as well. And they have to learn that their parents have a business that they have to run. And if they want to achieve their goals, it's all about family, right? I did a vision board training years ago, and it really touched me a lot. And the adults brought their kids, all different age groups. So I separated the kids from the adults, and we had all these magazines. Long story short, the kids were amazing at their vision boards. The parents, they got that mindset of money, right? So right away they have the limitations. Kids don't have any limitations. We can learn from them, vision board training. So after that was done, brought them together. And first of all, I had a talk with the kids, and I said, for you to have what you desire, you really got to help your mom. And so I had them all doing some things that they could do to help their parents. And then I would talk to the parents after, you put a note on the door. It depends on the age group too, right? You put a note on the door because that's your mom's or dad's working time to do their business. And then you have to do your chores. You have to do this. You have to do that, so you can have this. And it was just amazing, that whole experience, involving your children in the big picture. Okay, you never want your children to feel like you've replaced them because business is more important than them. Bring them in the whole thing, because they don't mind doing chores. They don't mind doing the homework by themselves. They don't mind making their lunch if they know you're working together as a family to make this dream happen. So yeah, do stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. We did this with our kids.
So basically, what we want to talk to you about now are tools for productivity. And I'm not sure if this is going to work, folks. I'm going to post it in a comment. And I apologize if it's coming all weird, but um, hopefully that will work. And what it is here is these are tools that I did a bit of research on apps for time management and productivity. And what I will do is in the comment section of that video, I'll put this in there for clarity. But for the sake for the time being, right now, you can maybe see some of the things. I noticed that it creates a new post every time you get a new line. But anyway, the point here is very important to have a to-do list, right? Task management, it's an app that helps you organize, prioritize your task. And again, this may or may not apply to you. Don't waste your time on things that don't matter. Remember the quadrant. But the fact is, it could be helpful, right? Another one is Trello, right? A visual project management tools using, maybe some of you have jobs and things that it could actually help you, right? And it creates lists and cards and tasks and workflow and project. Another one is Microsoft To Do. Again, simple, intuitive tasks to manage certain things. Integrate the Microsoft Office. Again, it's all there. There's Notion. That's another one. All-in-one workspace for notes, tasks, database. And I know that Apple has these things. I use Evernote, where for the past, I think, 10 years, all my notes, all my course, I don't write anything on paper because I know that gets lost and gets disposed of, but electronically into this Evernote system. It's an app that you can download. If you pay for the year, then you can synchronize it with your phone and every single device that you own. And wherever you are, you have a list of everything you've ever took note on. This is just something that I like. It's not on the list here, but it's something that I use. But Trello is one. Microsoft To Do is one. Notion, we just talked about. Focus Booster, right? Again, that's another one. Or Rescue Time. And I don't know if this may be helpful or not, but there were just some suggestions that may help you. There's some really, really powerful apps that can really simplify your life. I just found an app through Adobe now that I can use. For example, Tammy and I have this wonderful microphone that we hook up to our cell phone to do our videos. And for some particular annoying reason, I lost one part of it. And this is a very expensive piece of equipment. And I'm saying, okay, that's a drag. Because when I do a video with my cell phone, there's always this echoes depending on where you are. So if you're in a room or so, and you can take your audio and your video, you can put it into this app and it will convert your audio as if I'm talking to this microphone, like a radio talk, right? Even
Wow.
though you didn't have that. So there's so many tools today that can really help you, especially today with the AI. I know there's some controversy, but at the end of the day, folks, just use tools that can complement your task in your life and making you better and simplifying your life and managing your time. And this is the message here, right? So find tools and methods that can simplify tasks to make things simpler for you, so you don't have to put so much work into it. For example, if someone goes into a session and they spend a weekend listening to an event, and they take notes, and there's 16 pages or 20 pages of notes. Well, that's wonderful. But then what happened is you need to transfer these notes, or you need to rewrite these notes. What if it's done electronically right from the start? And then you can have all of these apps to fix it. What if you can take this and put it into ChatGPT and then fix all your notes in a way that you want it? I mean, folks, it's endless what's available today to simplify your life. So, Tammy, why don't we talk about methods of enhancing productivity? So, back to you.
Yeah, I thought we were finished. Okay. Wow, we got lots going on. Okay, so you want to talk about the daily planning and time blocking? Is that
Well, the 2 minute rule, the batch processing, the 1, 2, 3, 5
oh,
rule. Okay,
got it. Sorry, guys, I didn't realize there was that much here. All right,
we're done.
so the 2 minute rule. This is a good one. You know, to get all the quicker things that you can get done on your list. This is something that you can do. Just set a timer. It's important to set timers. If you have one, do it. Hey, our phones, right? We use our phones for everything, and just to get it done. This is really important. So it prevents all the little things from piling up. And you know, when all these little things pile up, guess what? You become overwhelmed, right? So you don't get the big things done. So batch processing, this you can group some things together. For example, answering emails. Honestly, I go and I check in the morning, and I go through them fast. By the way, I look for what's important, and then it could be making calls. It could be, you know, a certain time period where you're going to do some follow-up calls with people or follow-up messages with people, and put that in batching, and you know, do it all in a certain period of time. uh the 1-3-5 rule, these are good, Chris. You should put that on Telegram for people to that's going to help people. The 1-3-5 rule is choose one big task every day, three medium tasks, and five small tasks to complete each day. And that's a good way to set a goal. So maybe your big task would be, oh my gosh, I mean, I'm just thinking big tasks, and I do lots of medium tasks. I'm just looking at this. Chris pulled this from ChatGPT, but it could
You,
be
you, you know what, Tammy?
writing. Yeah, the
At the
big
end of the day,
task.
is to prioritize what it is you do. Do the big task first, and do the medium task, and do after that the small tasks, and you just kind of accomplish them in steps. Right.
Mhm.
The other one is eat that frog. Right. I know that sounds horrible, but that is to tackle the most challenging task first in the morning. For example, something I really um, for me, it requires discipline to do is every month I do what we call an accounting of how much income I've received for the month, what are my expenses, and then I cut my pie in different pieces to be able to make sure there's money left for the rest of the month, but everything is covered for, including taxes and all of these things. And for me, I do that in the morning. The moment I get midday or by the end, I don't want to touch this, right? Because it's a task that will take me about an hour to 2 hours, depending on what's going on, what's happening in a month. That's just an example. Is tackle the first thing in the morning, right? And you'll find it reduces the procrastination.
Yeah.
So we can end on this note here, Tammy. At the end of the day, folks, when you start mastering and prioritizing your daily activities. And I know Randy and let's see here, there's Jack that talk about the DMO, the daily method of operation. That is something that I do. Sometimes my wife calls me a robot because for me, that's important, right? I need these little boxes and I need those tasks because for me, it gives them a sense of peace and sense of control that I don't need to freak out knowing I have all these things to do. No, everything is organized and it's due time and everything is going to get done and everything does get done. It's amazing how much we accomplished in a week or even in a day once you have a daily method of operation. And that's what we're saying, folks. And don't panic and oh, I don't have that. It's okay. Just kind of our call today is designed for you to be aware and to start making changes where it's necessary so you can focus more of your attention on the thing that matters opposed to the things that don't matter. and just start there. My recommendation as a takeaway from this session today is go and draw your quadrant and start putting everything in quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4, and start from that point and work your life around it on things that matters and things that matters not. That's all there is to it. So we'll end on this note. It's 10:59, so we're right on the dot. Tammy, as we end, was there any last words you want to share as we end the session?
Uh, I highly recommend to sit down and work on your goals, your plan, right, in the next 2 to 5 years, and then work on your short term, what you're going to accomplish in 30 days, 90 days, and yeah, and grow from there.
Yeah. And Larry, the app, it's Adobe. If you go to Adobe Podcast, you'll find that. Okay. Now Adobe is very sticky and they love to charge for everything. But at the end of the day, I think it's $10 a month or $130 a year, something like that. You see what I mean with that $10 a month? Everybody does it now.
It's true.
That's where God backup is a bullseye. It's exactly the right trend that the economy is going towards. Small little amounts that people don't bother with that is useful, right? That's the
Millions of people.
So have yourself a great rest of your Saturday. Remember, on Wednesday, we have the presentation with our CEO. On Wednesday evening, on every Friday, we have a presentation at 11 o'clock Eastern time. Every Saturday, we do trainings. And keep in mind that in a Telegram group, we have other trainings and sessions that are being hosted by different leaders. And take part of them and learn from them and just apply it into your own, within your own ecosystem, your own team, your own strategy, and you'll find that everything's going to improve for you. So have yourself a great weekend, guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.